A major theme in your book is attacking the myth of creative decline. And you profile a number of artists who did their best work in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. What does that tell us about ordinary people?
So I think it tells us a lot. And you know the pernicious stereotypes. You know, these older people, they don't want to learn new technologies. They're set in their ways. And you've probably been in a meeting where someone is saying, oh, I can't remember. Oh, I'm having a senior moment, right? By the way, that expression should be banned from the workplace and it should be banned from meetings. Or, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You know, that's one that I also hear a lot. And it's really nonsense. So several years ago, I got on an airplane, went out to New York City, the Museum of Modern Art, and it was an exhibit of Matisse, and it was his cutouts. And the reason why I went is that the cutouts are considered the height of his creativity. Those are the, you know, the pools and the blue nude, and so he did it the last decade of his life. He died at age 84, and he did it from his bed and his wheelchair. And these are just incredible. But then when you start looking into painters, you begin to find more and more painters that their creativity grew with time. And so they were doing more creative work in their 60s than they had done in their 50s. And you look at writers, and you can find the same exact story about doing their creative work in their 60s and their 70s. And then it's not just in the arts, you know, in the skilled trades, you know, the blue-collar trades. People gain knowledge with experience. The professions, you know, the lawyers. I mean, you begin to realize that this is a theme throughout. And Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs of Apple, he gave this famous commencement address at Stanford University. And one of his themes was about connecting the dots and how important it is to connect the dots. Well, the thing is, you can only connect the dots, as he said, when you look back. And we call that wisdom, we call that judgment. So people can be incredibly creative, and it's about giving people the opportunity to be creative. And one of the reasons why I think so many people start their own business in the second half of life is that if you're running your own business, whether it's just yourself or maybe you're in business with a couple of peers, this is a creative activity and you have to learn all kinds of new things. I was down in Sarasota, Florida, and was interviewing a 70-something entrepreneur, and when I walked into her townhome, she was learning MailChimp and WordPress. And, you know, these were the things that she said in her previous life. She would call somebody up, the help desk, what am I doing here? And they find somebody who really knew it. Now she's learning it on her own. Well, this is good. This is learning. This is creativity. And the other thing is, we're going to move from creativity to productivity, which is more about being efficient. But I think there's also a real creative aspect to productivity. And there's this notion that as you get older, you become less productive. Well, these German economists, they went into a Mercedes-Benz assembly plant. So we're talking blue-collar work assembly plant. And they had incredible access. And what they found is that productivity peaked around the time someone retired. And what it is that people were using judgment and experience. And so they made fewer big mistakes. They made more small mistakes, but it's the big mistakes that are costly. And then they did the exact same study at a major white-collar insurance company in Germany, and it came up with the same results. And so I talked to one of the economists, and I said, so what's going on here? And he goes, look, experience matters, and experience pays.